Hello, Pisces, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of December 28th through January 3rd. And let me be the first to wish you a happy new year because we do have New Year's this week. Also, the moon energies will be the first quarter moon comes in on the 27th, 28th, and that could be a time when we feel impulsive, impatient, maybe a little bit active, hard to settle down and get things done. And it could just, you're feeling that excitement of the new year. We then move into that waxing gibbous energy, and that's a really good time for a deeper understanding, a good time to act on your intuition, but also a good time to plan and kind of make preparations for the future, which is a great because here we are looking down the barrel of New Year's resolutions, which you may or may not participate in. So if you're going to look back on your year and just decide, hey, here's some things that I'd like to change this year, and let me make a resolution to do those. Some people participate, some do not. So just letting you know those moon energies. So pay attention to those as we're moving through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for energies that you may or may not encounter, Pisces. So as always, please take what resonates today and leave what doesn't for someone else. And your overall message for this reading is hold your vision. All right. And as I'm shuffling, of course, I know Christmas week last week and this week of New Year's, I'm kind of rushing through these readings. I know my time is valuable. So is yours. We probably don't have a lot of time to hang out on YouTube. I know. So I'm rushing through these a little bit. We will next week get back into a more calmer feel. I'll slow down a little bit, explain these cards a little more. But I did just want to touch base with everybody this week, even though it's New Year's week. So let's get into this reading and we'll go through it rather quickly. But like I said, next week back to just calmer, slower way of life after the holidays are over. All right, Pisces. So December 28th to January 3rd, hold your vision. Your overall energy right now is that you are kind of moving towards the future here with the Eight of Cups and thinking about it, but moving towards it in a way, nice calm waters, but good support at your back. So you're thinking already about things that you want to change in your life in the upcoming year. And I think we're all, as the year wraps up, we all kind of get to that point too. Your current situation is the Ace of Wands. So you may have some sort of idea or a big yes, or there's some new passion, something new that you're like, oh, I love this. And it could be as simple as, we just went through Christmas. It could be a Christmas gift that you got. Oh, I love this gift. I love it so much. It's changing my life every day. That kind of gift. It could be so many different things. It could be something changes within your job and you're like, oh, I love this change. It's just something that you love that's going to come to you and it's just going to make your life a little bit better. So that's nice. At the root of your situation is the Devil card this week. So there might be something, and we're going to cover these folk up because, YouTube thinks that they're a little, that they should be covered. Well, that's not enough crystals there. There we go. That should be fine. Anyway, at the root of your situation this week is the Devil card. So, the devil is about false truths. It's about being insecure. It's about being maybe obsessed with something. It can touch on things like dependency, that sort of thing. But self-doubt, imagine that devil on your one shoulder that's just whispering false things into your ear that aren't true. But it's just you're kind of presented this for some reason at your root this week that there's something. It's something that that's maybe you shouldn't be doing or thinking, and what the influence is, that it's a negative influence. So just be aware that that's around you this week, and let's try to quell that and face it and say, not today. Not today, Satan. Right? In your recent past, Queen of Wands. So you're entering into your energy. That you're entering into is that you do have an understanding of something that you do love, and something that you appreciate about how your life is. That's the best way I can explain it. It's kind of the female energy of passion. It's kind of a muted passion. I don't know. But you're just sitting in that energy in your recent past coming into this, that there's something that you do that you just really you enjoy doing, and you're passionate about it. But it's almost like this new thing comes in, and it's, oh, I love that even more. So there's like some kind of a change or an evolution right there that's happening, I do believe. What's on your mind this week is feeling a little bit like an outsider when it comes to the pentacles here with the six. So whatever's going on with you, make sure you hold your vision. And, with this card, I always feel like, all of us can feel like an outsider. So, and if this is something in the material or financial realm, um don't let comparison be the thief of joy. If you're comparing yourself to someone else in their situation, we don't always know that situation all the time. And even though it might appear that they have more or there's more abundance, we just don't even know what's behind that. Okay. So don't let comparison be the thief of joy. And if you are feeling like an outsider, just make sure that you reach out, wherever that is, and try to quell that. Again, that could be something false that this devil's bringing in. So, make sure that you're clarifying all of that, and be you, and hold your vision of who you are and how you want your life to be. What is just ahead of you this week is the Lovers card, which is very interesting because I see these two also in the Devil card. So, is this something, is this some message here for you? And why are none of these crystals big enough to do what I'm trying to do here? I need a little tiny one there. There we go. Okay, everybody's covered up. Um, did you hear that, AI bot? Anyway, ahead of you is this Lovers card. So is this information with this devil, or this thing kind of being brought up through your partner? Is this something that has something to do with, again, with dependency, or just kind of being lured by something, a little distraction that maybe you're like, nope, not today? And does it also involve your partner? Very, very well could. So, kind of keep an eye on that. Again, also, since I'm seeing more than, I see every time I see more people in the reading, on the cards, I start to think that whatever your situation is this week, it does involve more than just you and your partner. It's probably more people than that. So whatever that is for you, we'll see. Let's see what other cards you get here. In your advice position is the Eight of Pentacles, which is kind of just to buckle down and get back to work on something, and I almost feel like, again, here we are with these holidays. It kind of messes everything up because you're off this day, you're off on weird days through the week, and, when the holidays don't fall on the weekends, and it does kind of make everything seem a little bit weird and just a little bit off kilter. So you may have to have that moment where you're like, all right, focus. We're not thinking about this stuff anymore. Back to work. Focus. Let's get things accomplished. That's going to be an energy that you're definitely going to have this week. What is beyond your control this week is after back to work. It's just like, okay, kind of a job well done, or, recognizing that you have done some work. So, maybe that's at the first part of the week, and you get to kind of, do that, the midweek, Happy New Year thing, and then back to work. So it is kind of weird. It's weird for all of us this week. All right. What is your secret desire, or what you're trying to avoid? Is the King of Wands. So we've got the Queen of Wands, this energy that we came in with, which is about really the understanding of what lights your fire, what drives you and gets you up in the morning. Now we've got the King of Wands, and this is either your secret desire is to get to a place where you're very knowledgeable about something that you're really passionate about, or you're just trying to avoid that. Like maybe it's just not the week to be learning and doing that sort of work yet. And that's really up to you. You might answer either or way. Again, it's a holiday week, so taking a lot of time for learning, unless you're taking some time for yourself, which you very well could be. But that'll be your big question. Is that your secret desire to be in the super knowledgeable area of the thing that you're newly passionate about, or are you just trying to hold that off until another time? In your outcome position, I've seen this card quite a bit too, rest and meditation. So while this week is busy, and again, work is kind of upside down and weird, um, and everybody's schedule's thrown a little bit off kilter because of the holiday. Just make sure you take some time for you to rest and meditate, and just kind of be quiet, and get some rest in there. I know there seems like there's a lot going on. It's that way for all of us. Just take that time when you can to take a little time for yourself. So, what's hidden from you this week is the Page of Swords. So, this would be some new thing in communication or thought. And it's not, it's almost like everything you're dealing with is stuff, nothing's brand new to you. Maybe this Ace of Wands adds something to something that you're already passionate about, but there's nothing really new. You're kind of dealing with things that you've been dealing with over time. I just don't see that there's anything super new for you this week. All right. And again, your overall message was to hold your vision. We're going to keep shuffling these cards, is to hold whatever vision it is. And if it has something to do with this thing that you're passionate about, you've just got to hold your vision. Maybe there's not a lot of progress on things this week. And again, that could be because of the holiday, but hold your vision because life kind of gets back to normal next week. All right. Let's get a final word here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final message for Pisces. December 28th through January 3rd. Okay, right there. There we go. Forgive and forget. Does that have something to do with this Devil card? Maybe. Perhaps. Forgive and forget. I don't know. It's in a weird position because that's at your root position. I'm not even quite sure how I want to take that. All right. But whatever happens, not today, right? Not today, Satan. Just make sure you remember that. Let's see what you need to do in the way of self-care besides resting and meditating a little bit for you. Let's see what card comes up for you. Is the card of abundance. Look at all those dollar signs. I love that. Being a thoughtful steward for the money you already have is the secret to creating more abundance. When you trust yourself to handle more, that's when more shows up. That is such an important message. When you trust yourself to handle more, that's when more shows up. So trust yourself to handle more. Be very thankful as you're looking back on this year. Again, it's a time for resolution, but it's also a time to kind of look back. What seeds did you plant this year? And I don't just mean financial seeds, but those emotional seeds, that we're putting into our relationships, those um, other kinds of energy, even things with your spiritual life. Make sure that you are filling those, all of those different accounts up so that they're all growing for you. So Pisces, once again, thank you so much for being here. Again, I know this reading was very quick. We'll get back into taking a little bit more time next week. Take that big breath as the new year comes in, and let it all out. And then, of course, the calmer waters of January do come in, and it's a little calmer time without just as much going on. So, again, I want to say to you, happy New Year, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.